Terence Crawford makes huge demand, which clarifies what was going on with the Terence Crawford fight, as a gigantic number is being thrown out for what Terence Crawford wants to fight Sebastian Fundora. And you know, if he wants this, he wants a whole lot more for Errol Spence Jr. or Jaron Ennis, and probably anybody else that he's going to fight. Let's talk about that in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon, and in this video, we are going to be in the 154-pound division, where rumor has it that Terence Crawford was asking for astronomical amount of money to fight Sebastian Fundora, Tszyu, Errol Spence Jr., yeah, that pretty much will explain why we're at where we're at. Now, before I get into that, let me welcome you back to the channel. If you are new to the channel, please accept my invitation to hit the subscribe button. Hit the bell icon so you can be notified of when we release more videos. And if you're a longtime subscriber and supporter of the channel, thank you so much for your continued support. Makes a huge difference to the channel. But let's get into this because, look, man, we want to see big fights in boxing. And people like to talk about politics a lot in the sport and say, hey, you know, politics is killing boxing. Politics is killing boxing. Politics is killing boxing. I know you heard it. The best don't fight the best because of the politics. On a live stream, I was talking to Rick Timms III. And if you're not familiar with Rick Timms III, look up Rick Timms, RICKTIMS, one with not 3, but I 111, has a new YouTube channel. Definitely go check him out. And we were talking about, you know, the problem with getting these big fights. And specifically, we were talking about just wanting to see Gervonta Davis fight Devin Haney. And like all of this talk going on, people don't want to hear it. You know, all this politics getting in the way. During that conversation, I made a clarification that I'm going to make for you guys in this video. There's a difference between business and politics. Business and politics. Politics is the relationship between individuals, right? Business is profit and loss. So as a matter of politics, I could say, look, man, I don't really want to do business with this other promoter because I don't like that other promoter, or that promoter's on another network than I am, and this network really doesn't want us to send our fighters to that network. I would consider that to be politics, right? Now, obviously, there's a monetary aspect to that, right? Because, you know, for the right amount of money, you can overcome politics, right? And when the money is funny, the politics are really going to be funny. However, there are cases where there's no politics involved and it's just business. In this particular instance with Terence Crawford and the PBC, that's not politics. That's business. At least if it's true that he wanted $15 million guaranteed to fight Tszyu. Now, $15 million to fight Tszyu will definitely put the PBC in the hole at a loss for that fight, because Terence Crawford versus Tszyu is not a fight that they have a lot of faith is going to generate a lot of revenue. $15 million guaranteed. Now, understand what the guarantee is, because people keep talking about guarantees versus purses, right? They say purses and guarantees. Look, a guarantee, when you're saying, and a guarantee can mean a lot of different things. It could mean, yeah, I guarantee you this as long as we make our money. But if we don't make that money, I'm not going to pay you the money. I'm just going to guarantee you I'm going to give you this if we get that. It could be a flat out purse, which means, hey, here's $5 million for this fight. If I lose money, it doesn't matter. Here's the $5 million for the fight. That's a different scenario. But let's just assume that the $15 million is a purse that he gets no matter what happens in that fight, similar to the money that he got from BOK Prime, which was rumored to be $10 million. And BOK Prime and people represented BOK Prime said it was $10 million. Right? There's no way that Terence Crawford, that BOK Prime pulled a profit on that fight. No way that they pulled a profit off that fight. That was a loss. So you have Terence Crawford who lost money or BOK Prime did it. It's not Terence Crawford's fault. That was BOK Prime's decision because they had to know that was not going to make money. That was not going to, and if they just lose a little bit of money, they're okay with it. So that's on them. Same thing for Bob Arum. When Bob Arum was losing money on those fights with Terence Crawford, he had to have known that because he was probably making money overall with the contract that he was paying Terence Crawford out of. The PBC, on the other hand, is not willing to do that. They're not in a position where they need to pay him money to get their name on because their name is already on. They're not in a situation where they're getting these huge amounts of money from a network to put on a ton of fights and where they can afford to lose money on this one and make money on the other one. At least that doesn't seem like what it is. So when Terence says, hey, man, I want this big guarantee for this fight, you're going to walk up into a situation where they're going to tell you no. Now, there was a statement that was made by Steven Espinoza. There were a lot of people took it one way, but I took it another way. And reasonable people can listen to the same thing and draw different conclusions. When Steven Espinoza said that Terence Crawford, being the gentleman and the businessman that he is, was willing to do the fight, was it in the same terms? But he was absolutely willing. Now, you got to understand, this is how my understanding of this. Business talk is business talk, and people will say things, but because they're not trying to isolate themselves from people that they may do business with in the future. They're not going to say things unless you don't want to do business with somebody, like say maybe Bill Haney talking about Gervonta Davis or Bill, you know what I mean? Something, unless you really don't want to you're not really planning on doing business with people. You don't talk about them all kind of sideways. You give them grace. So I'm taking that into consideration when I'm interpreting what Steven Espinoza said, because he said he was willing. He didn't say he was definitely wanted it, unlike what he said with Gervonta. But what he said was it the same terms? Maybe not. Maybe. He didn't say maybe not. That's what he said. Whether they were the same terms or not. See, that's a question. Whether makes it a question. Whether they were the same terms or not, which means that you have some type of negotiation going on at the very least, based off what he said. And that is probably, and Terence Crawford asking for more money than he got the first time, which seeing as and I'm telling you, nobody really knows the numbers, what they are for sure. But if he got a $20 million guarantee, or he made $30 million that last fight, he's going to want more money for this fight. And that, along with Errol Spence Jr.'s injuries, was what delayed the fight or prevented that fight from taking place. Terence Crawford's got a very, very inflated sense of monetary worth. Not technical expertise or skill in the ring, but it seems as if he has an elevated sense of his monetary worth and what he means to, and also has a diminished capacity for a diminished desire or a small desire to allow other people to actually make money too, and enter into an agreement where both parties are mutual, where they think it's mutually beneficial to both. But anyway, that's my take on the matter. Please let me know what you think in the comment section. And with that, I'm out. Deuces.